Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm Zoran's slightly different Glasses Gavoyich, with one more stretch of episodes until James returns next month. Until he does, I'll be covering the much-requested Critters franchise, starting with the original from 1986. Critters is another franchise that I absolutely love. It's a finely balanced mix of horror and comedy that echoes Tremors in a lot of ways. In fact, the production was very similar as well, with a bunch of young, hungry filmmakers who became as close as the family in the film.
We were like the little engine that could. It was great fun. Everybody was working as a tight-knit unit.
Many people lump Critters into the Gremlins ripoff films like Munchies, Ghoulies, or Hobgoblins. Oh my. But Critters actually originated 2 years before Gremlins was released. It was written by then 19-year-old Brian Dominic Muir, who went by his middle name just for this movie.
Dominic kind of sounds like an asshole.
Muir had worked various jobs for low-budget God King Roger Corman, who was originally going to produce Critters, no doubt up to his usual standards. A chance meeting with Bob Shaye moved Critters over to New Line Cinema, with an increased budget of $2 million. Plenty more than Corman would have spent. This first film is the only Critters Muir was involved in, and sadly, he passed away in 2010.
48 years old, but he kind of left a big mark on a lot of people.
Barry Opper was brought on as producer, having worked on an earlier film named Android with Muir, but much to Muir's chagrin, he would not go on to direct.
Came down to a coin toss, and Brian lost the coin toss.
Instead, the job went to Stephen Herrick, an editor for Roger Corman, who would later go on to direct a personal favorite of mine, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I wish I could kill count that movie. Actually, I don't see James around, so... One babysitter! Done! Critters includes some amazing actors as well, like Scream Queens Dee Wallace and Lynn Shay, as well as a young Billy Zane in his first speaking role. I wonder why you never talked before.
I'm allergic.
And I'm allergic to death. It makes me break out in hives. I don't die, oddly. But who cares about actors when you've got the titular Critters? Designed and operated by the Kyoto brothers, the Three Stooges of visual effects.
The Three Stooges for the Kyoto brothers, it's a really, really good description.
The Kyoto brothers are maybe best known for creating Killer Clowns from Outer Space, a movie that led to James and I meeting, so, you can blame it for me being your host today. The Kyoto crafted creatures would go on to have several sequels. There's the Easter one, the Leo one, the one in space, and the new one, though they weren't involved in that last one. I'll be covering all of them over the next few weeks. And yes, there is also a TV series that started on Go90 and wound up on Shudder, but I will never be covering that thing. They have like a Matrix joke in there. It's 2021, enough bullet time! But this is where the franchise started. The story of alien fugitives who land on Earth and terrorize an all-American family. The farming fam is assisted by a couple of shape-shifting bounty hunters, who help by blowing lots of shit up with their dick guns. What follows is a funny, terrifying, heartwarming, well-acted story that definitely doesn't bite. How many jokes can I come up with without... I'm sorry, those trumpets? I want to know where those are coming from.
It's the Spoonful Pimpernel!
Ha ha! Stir me!
He's a legendary hero that travels the land rescuing people's breakfast with the help of today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. But what are you doing here? I already love how Magic Spoon's reinvented cereal by offering high-protein, grain-free cereal with 0 grams of sugar. So I'm telling you, I don't need rescuing.
Right you are, my boy. That's why I'm here to recruit you into the League of the Spoonful Pimpernels. You see, we need dedicated magic munchers like yourself to spread the word further than one impeccably dressed breakfast vigilante could dream.
I would be honored. Do you want me to talk about the build your own bundle option where you can pick from all 11 of Magic Spoon's amazing flavors like honey nut or peanut butter or fruity?
Young Zorenia, I want you to speak from the heart. Tell me, what's your favorite cereal flavor?
Cocoa and peanut butter.
Well, what about your favorite cereal bar flavor?
Cocoa and peanut butter.
Consistent. I like it. Well, I must be off, but before I go to officially induct you into the league, I present you this ring.
Wow. You know what? Sorry, can we take a second? Ben, what does the Scarlet Pimpernel have to do with Critters?
Terrence Mann plays Ugg in this and was also in the original cast of Broadway's The Scarlet Pimpernel.
Whew. I thought my references were obscure. Yours are worse.
Anyway, you can become a Magic Muncher yourself by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code. And make sure to use code DEADMEATJAMES for $5 off your order today. How many jokes can I come up with about balls in this franchise? Let's find out and get to the testicles. Oh, that's one. The movie begins in space. This maximum security Balcatraz is expecting 8 new prisoners, but they were supposed to have 10.
Well, we did have 10 at one time, but the Krites were eating everything in sight. We had to kill 2 of them to make the food last longer.
But we never met them, and that was before the movie, so they don't count. They pull a Michael Scofield and break out. Ooh, what's the damage report?
2 dead and 3 wounded, sir.
Now, since we do see the explosion, guess we're starting things off with a couple off-screen space-talities. The prisoners steal a ship and escape like they were Stitch evading Captain Gantu. This forces old man Bib Fortuna to call in the bounty hunters. But not Bosk and Dengar. It's Ugg and Lee. You get it? Ugg, Lee, huh? Right? Because they don't look good. You know, that's writing. They have a less nipply Batman suiting up montage, then arrive to take on the job of killing the creatures known as Krites. Krites, you know, that isn't very marketable. Maybe we could just call them something like Title Card! Or Critters. Critters works too. The bounty hunters head to Earth and tune into the Mojo-verse to help pass the time. This planet primer shows them Earth is violent. Like, super violent. Wow, baby murders, really? Maybe advertise some of our good stuff, like Paddington 2. Yeah, that's right, you hard stare those writers. One good thing they find is a music video starring a rock star named Johnny Steele. This song, Power of the Night, was written by Barry Opper's good friend Richie Vedder and actor Terrence Mann, who plays Johnny Steele. Mann's a Broadway actor who originated the role of Rum Tum Tugger in Cats. However, Terrence wasn't production's first choice.
Steve and I wanted Billy Idol.
But Idol was too busy dancing with himself, and Mann got the role instead, applying his Broadway skills to this very catchy power ballad.
I remember going into the studio and sitting down at the piano and writing it in about 20 minutes, half an hour.
Johnny Steele's eye fucking gets the alien all hot and heavy. And melty. In a Raiders-like effect, Ugg alters his appearance to gain himself a new Steele look that would make Derek Zoolander proud. This awesome analog morphing effect was done by special makeup supervisor R. Christopher Biggs. His team placed heaters around a many-layered model head and melted it in real time, then played the footage in reverse. By the time they land on Earth, Lee still hasn't transformed.
Nothing likes me.
Find something.
Oh, sounds like me talking to my single friends. Don't worry, Fiona. We'll find you someone.
Never asked you to, Zorn.
Just outside the town of Grover's Bend lives our hero family, the Browns. No relation to my mom, Susan Brown. But here we've got bacon-cooking Mama Helen, Mila Kunis-looking daughter April, Oshkosh Bagoshin Papa Jay, who looks like he should be searching for his dog Pooh Bear, and Ferris Bueller and son Brad, fresh out of the precocious protagonist factory. Same place they made that kid in Leprechaun. They're a picture-perfect rural family, complete with folksy threats of corporal punishment.
You miss that bus, I'm gonna skin you and hang your bones out to dry.
Damn, Jay, maybe load less honey into your mason jar full of coffee, you fucking weirdo. Jay's played by Billy Greenbush, previously seen on the Kill Count stupidly impaling himself in Jason Goes to Hell. He's keeping this farm together with the help of hired hand Charlie, a former high school baseball star turned drunken conspiracy nut. Oh sure, let him watch over your kid while, you know, he blows up a Y-Wing like he's working at ILM. Charlie's played by Don Keith Opper, brother of this movie's producer Barry Opper. And I hope you like him, cause he's basically our Burt Gummer of this franchise. Dad's working on the car when a new ride shows up, all the way from New York City. I'm sorry, this movie takes place in Kansas. Did this guy drive 1,300 miles to get to first base? Well, this eager dater is Steve Allott. Yeah, you like that, D. Wallace? Played in ponytailed perfection by 19-year-old Billy Zane. Steve here wants to make a good impression on April's dad, so he goes in for a handshake, only to get the finger. Cheer up, man, there's always dinner.
Well, we should get going.
Never mind! April and Steve head out for the night, meaning they drive about 5 feet so they can go barnicate. Well, as if horny teens ain't enough trouble though, there are other kids upstairs putting a few household chemicals into the proper proportions. Brad here is played by Scott Grimes, best known as the voice of Steve Smith in American Dad. He sneaks out of his bedroom window while his mom and the movie get distracted by Johnny Steele again. Whoa, hey, I think Helen's sexuality just got awakened right there. Jay, where are you? Nearby, this toaster of a spaceship lands and causes a ruckus that makes April think she's lost her virginity.
The Earth moved.
Already?
Or maybe you just hit an iceberg. Don't tell Rose. Turns out the Krites have landed, and it's before midnight, so they're looking for some... The Krites are voiced by the endless IMDb page of voice actor Corey Burton, who I know most from playing Dale on Rescue Rangers and Count Dooku in Clone Wars. To create the critter language, he used a combination of Japanese rhythms and junior high French.
Of course, to eat in French is manger. The faces had those teeth, so I couldn't make an M sound. I just said, ange.
Jay and Brad go to investigate and stumble upon the remnants of a critter's mouffe.
What happened to him?
I don't know. Without my gun, I don't want to find out.
Honestly, I love seeing sensible characters in horror movies, even if on the way back home they pass a glowing spaceship that I'm pretty sure they would have seen from that distance. No? Don't see it? Alright, get your eyes checked. Across the way, Deputy Jeff Barnes is on a patrol when those Tremors PAs find new work rolling critter balls across the road. It causes him to crash, and when he gets out of the car, he's shot in the leg with a porcupine quill. Barnes then screams at the camera before politely scooting himself onto the count. Back at the farm, Helen sees a creepy pair of red eyes outside the window. Oh, get that creature some Visine. Though they're not as creepy as her scare-grabbing husband.
Scared the hell out of me. Oh.
I'm sorry, forgive me.
Rule 1 of a good marriage, always admit fault.
Soren, did you mix up the minutes and seconds in the Dude Bro kill count?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I still love you.
I still love you too, honey. That was my wife. Helen is played by America's mom of the 80s, Dee Wallace. And this was the first time she was credited as Dee Wallace Stone. We've seen her on the kill count in Rob Zombie's Halloween and Cujo, in which she co-starred with her stone-providing husband, Christopher Stone. As always, she's one of this film's strongest assets.
She's acting as if she's in a better movie than it is.
Jay tries to call the sheriff, but someone's cut the phone line. Honestly, who are we gonna call anyway? You're already a pinbuster. Oh, and now they cut the power too? I tell you, these critters are smart. They're too damn smart. Unlike Jay, who throws away his sensible notions from earlier and goes to the cellar to investigate. Oh, hey, I see something on the shelf over there. You know, you should probably grab a stick or maybe, oh, your hand? Oh, come on, don't! That's right, say hello to the critter. Aw, you look sleepy. The critters were designed and operated by Stephen, Edward, and Charlie Chiodo. Muir's script described the critters as furballs with teeth, and the Chiodos added a little inspiration of their own.
In this case, I think it was really the Tasmanian Devil became kind of the touchstone.
Anything else?
Tried to do something reminiscent of the Muppets, light and very expressive.
And they did so, using practical hand puppets with hydraulic articulations in the face. The critter's signature glowing red eyes were achieved with the same reflective paint used on stop signs. They would then position a beam splitter near the camera that would reflect red light back at it.
It gave the critter's eyes an incredible depth and a kind of an unreal look. It just looked really, just very cool.
The only issue with the puppets was the fur they used to achieve a less cute and more quill-like look.
The moose pelts we got ended up being very stiff, and it was really difficult to puppeteer. You were fighting this thick pelt that really inhibited a lot of the movement.
Jay's attacked from above by another Krite who takes 5 easy pieces out of his shoulder. Jay manages to smash it with a hammer! But before he can make it up the stairs, he's hit by one of those quills we saw used on Deputy Barnes. He's knocked out and dragged away, and later we learn more about the non-Jeffrey Rush related quills.
Hey, careful, boy. That's some kind of poison.
And those will make any cowboy sing a sad, sad song. Meanwhile, the Blue Ball Marathon Makeout sesh has been going for what seems like hours. So long that the music has stopped. Yeah, you put that weird director name cameo music back on. Oh damn! Yeah, can't get to second base without those fingers. Also, I think it's supposed to seem like they were bitten off, but Zane is totally just curling them up there. A second critter appears and goes for a little belly Zane. April tries to fight it off Baghead Jason style, but it's no use. As we say via con diablos to the other collector. This kill was actually much more violent in the original cut.
We spent hours shoving a critter into a bloody Billy Zane stomach.
I must have shot 20 minutes of him getting devoured, and it ended up just being one close-up of his face.
I guess that original cut is just known as a phantom edit. Not you. April's screams bring the family running. Oh, wait, I guess just Brad? Cool. Oh, and is that critter fucking that fence? Cool, cool, cool. Brad heads up to the loft to find his sister's pitchfork festival gone horribly wrong. He lights one of his fireworks and tosses it with precision at the critter, who then eats it, causing a Looney Tunes explosion that ends with him falling over dead like Vicini in a battle of wits. And just like with Tremors, I'm going to count the critter deaths on a special bounty board, which is something I totally won't regret once I get to Critters 2. Oh, good. time. Too late for tapebacks though, so let's add this Tasmanian Devil as our first Krite on the bounty board. At the police station, Charlie asks Sally the dispatcher to call the National Guard. Earlier, he saw the ship fly by, making him do a failed spit take. Sally the dispatcher is played by Lynn Shay, well known for Insidious and previously seen on the kill count in A Nightmare on Elm Street. She's also the sibling of New Line executive Bob Shay. And I bet that was planned.
There was no trade-off, my brother for your sister or anything like that.
Oh, well, whatever brought her in, it's always a treat to see her. Almost always. Charlie tells Sally to stay put while he goes to find the sheriff at the bowling alley. And by sheriff, he means whiskey. Charlie shoots the sheriff, but before he can do the deputy, the bounty hunters arrive. And look, Lee Hunter Oswald has finally taken the form of a human. A local reverend seen earlier in a scene with a funny and totally not forced horror organ cue. Nice work, Chet Jackson's great-grandma. The bounty hunters are looking for Krites.
Who are they? Some new team?
No. Kevin Pollak here is a fan of the Cisco Giants. And he gets so upset he changes his face yet again, this time to Charlie. Not sure what the undulating breast shot was about, and also I'm not sure if they kill these guys and all this off-screen gunfire. We don't see any bodies, but it feels like they were killed. Yes, James, quick question. Can we count kills based on, a feeling?
Zoran, I told you I'm in London, man. If you call me again, I'm gonna slap you.
Take that as a no.
This Saturday, it's time for Pinnapalooza at the Grover's Bend Impeccable. All the greats will be there. Honey Boy, Almost Ditka, and the legally covered by fair use parody law, Inbusters. Plus a surprise appearance from the Bounty Bowlers.
Holy shit.
So get your tickets to the Grover's Bend Pinnapalooza. It's right up your alley.
Back at the farm, Jay praises his wife's gift of a gun rack for his many guns. He then uses one of them to ignore her.
Yeah, but we should just stay here.
No, we can't wait.
Man, sometimes this family treats Helen like she's an invisible mom.
Thank you for the lovely breakfast you prepared, Mother.
The Browns head to the truck, but it's been torn up. Okay, what about Steve's car? Assuming it still has gas after its 22-hour trip from New York. Ho-ho! Looks like Steve's brought along a big old city critter to teach you country critters how to run. The critter ball was actually a Krite form the Kyoto brothers came up with to make movement easier and look less silly.
I'm gonna get you!
Some of the balls had a remote-controlled gyroscope inside so they could move around corners, but others were basically bowling balls with fur rolled by anyone who was around.
We would be in this emotional, hysterical state, and all of a sudden we'd hear Steven or somebody go, okay, roll them in.
The Browns get back to the house where Jay is bit on the same shoulder as before. Oh, wow, that's gotta hurt, but hey, easier for continuity. Once again, the family sends Brad off on his own so he can unlock the door from the inside, right as the critters approach. Yes, we knew you weren't helpless, Helen. But, you didn't leave much for your boyfriend Johnny Bartlett to carve a number into. I also love this subtitle joke, which almost didn't make it into the movie since New Line head Bob Shay didn't want Critters subtitles. Director Stephen Herrick secretly added this one subtitle to a test screening, and
the audience just erupted. You couldn't hear the dialogue for 2 minutes at least. After the screening, Bob Shay comes in and says, okay, all right, how do we get more subtitles into the movie?
With Jay laid out, Helen takes over as head of the family.
Why don't you go check the windows? I already did. We'll check them again!
Oh man, wow. Honestly, I love that breaking down moment from Dee, followed by a heartfelt hug. Oh, it's nice to see some realistic family dynamics in a horror movie. Well, aside from the Buckners. The critters don't want to miss out on Family Fun Day, so one prepares for a very scary Kritemas, which happens to be the name of the treatment for a Critters Christmas movie I wrote with Dude Bro director Michael Rousselet. If only I could get a meeting with those Warner brothers. Or their sister Dot. But Santa Krite was just a red Christmas herring, and the real attack hits Helen with some porcupoison. As Helen yawns, April flips the bitch of a couch, trapping the critter underneath. Two more unexpected dinner guests make the family send their child once again into danger to get the shotgun. He takes aim at the couch Krite only to slip and shoot his biggest fan, which lands on the critter, killing it not with a bang, but a sad widow whimper. Brad makes it upstairs and does a lamplighter impression, igniting what I can only assume is this critter's fiancé. Helen, no! Luckily, Diane makes it to a nearby toilet to cool off, while her fiance goes to see if Kays takes returns. This fire shot was one of the first ones done by second unit director Mark Helfrich. He filmed most of the Critters inserts, and wanted to fully burn one of the puppets on set that day.
We can't burn a hero puppet. They were like $10,000 with full articulation and stuff.
During all these farmhouse shenanigans, Sheriff Harvey has been investigating the path of destruction left by the bounty hunters. Oh hey, verification that the bowling boys aren't dead after all! No, I better call James. How?
Yep, we're definitely doing sword kill counts again.
Harvey is played by M. Emmett Walsh, known for Blade Runner and less known for this 5-second film short where he eats soup. Kill count champions, ladies and gentlemen. Curly Sal reports shots fired at the old Brown place, so Harvey the Wonder Sheriffster heads over there. Brad isn't a doctor at Cook County General yet, so he volunteers to go elsewhere for help.
Absolutely not.
Really? You've been sending him into tons of dangerous situations and now you draw the line. Just let the kid ride his bike for help.
All right.
Oh shit. Can this movie hear me? Brad makes his way to his bike only to find a non-Frisch's big boy who's more of a Huffy fan. It chases B-Rad into the B-Arn, where he uses his peep eye to see that these critters have definitely been eating their spinach.
They're growing.
The growing shot was done live on location in a similar way to the transformation from Werewolf by Night.
So we were puppeteering the main critter, and then we would just kind of bring other elements in. We brought some duvetine in there to kind of create a amorphous shape, and then had another critter pop out of that.
It's a cool effect, but also an aspect of their biology that's never addressed in any of the sequels. Something we will see later is the critters having a party, tearing up pillows, eating Klaus, and taking out their aggression towards the man that produced Gremlins. D. Wallace, look away! This E.T. the Extermination was actually very hard to film.
Because the critter couldn't really go sideways to bite the arm like this because the whole body would rotate like that, which looks funky.
The pillow also caused an issue because the down got everywhere, including inside the critters.
Couldn't get rid of it. And 2 days later, they're coughing out little feathers.
This fun puppet palooza is set to a score by Randy Newman! David Newman. But it's still really good. David Newman's music is in a lot of movies and TV, including a personal childhood favorite, The Brave Little Toaster. And this party finally comes to an end when the Sweetums critter runs by the window. Wait for me, I want to go to Hollywood! Brad makes it to the road and flags down the bounty hunters. After realizing they're not the real Charlie and Johnny Steele, he tells them to head to the farm. Better hurry, since April is being attacked by a big boy. Aw man, and looks like he tore his critter costume.
Jay fends it off with a Dr. Ross Jennings special, and this landlady doesn't like it when devils are in her house.
So she shoots one through the door, leaving some very green blood behind. Not unlike gremlin blood. Not gremlins. Helen uses her last shot to take out a chair that I would love to add to the chair count.
That's not a thing.
You're right. But what about this door that gets knocked onto the count?
Oh man, when is James coming back?
All right, fine, we'll just count the kills since the bounty hunters have arrived and they're ready to take out a wall. You just saw him roll on the ground. Why are you aiming up? Yeah, that's right, Ugg. You walk by all dismissive. The Browns reunite, but only ever so briefly since Brad is once again sent into danger to find his Wookiee of a cat.
Oh God, Chewie.
Sheriff Harvey arrives and tries to keep the family safe as the bounty hunters just destroy their house. I mean, insurance ain't covering that. They end up in the bathroom where Diane's been having an affair with a ghoulie. She's flushed out of her hiding place when Ugg uses his cannon to fix the critter clog. Oh yeah, you got them booms like Jagger. The bounty hunters' guns were actually modified 12-gauge shotguns designed by Anthony Dublin. They used smaller shotgun shells since full-size shells would have blown the barrel off. But these bite-sized bullets still packed a punch.
And all these shards of the toilet of the porcelain come flying back and hit the stunt guy in the face, and he got some pretty nasty cuts on his face from that.
Another critter ball bails on the situation past Sheriff Harvey, who asks bounty hunter Charlie what's going on. His response is very peculiar.
I hope not your take over our operation.
I'm sorry, what the hell did he just say?
I hope not your take over our operation.
Sure, if that's the best take we got, just use it. But hey, make sure to put M. Emmett Walsh down nicely. Good God, the man's 53 years old. Be gentle. Harvey's okay, but Brad isn't, since he's found Chewie as well as another fat cat in the form of Big Daddy Critter. BDC attacks, but is scared off by Ugg's euphemism of a gun. The human-sized critter was portrayed by Kevin Thompson, a seasoned costume actor whose work includes Ewoks, Clockwork Napoleon Bears, and the alien from Night of the Creeps. The reason the full-size critter is never fully seen outside of quick cuts is because the director and Kyoto's weren't very happy with the final look.
First time you see it in full thing, it reeks of the Kool-Aid Kid.
Oh yeah, critters!
Zoran, are you sure people are gonna know that you got an official voice of the Kool-Aid Man for this little cameo?
They will when they see this.
Yeah, I really should put some pants on.
Over my dead body!
Brad and Ugg get downstairs to find that April's been kidnapped by the Shredritter, and it's up to teenage biking ninja Brad to save her. Cause I guess he's gotta do everything! Can someone please at least go with him? Like, I don't know, you, Charlie Hunter. Oh, shit. Okay, don't wanna mess with the ear wiggling. Everybody back the hell off! Just let him drive so you can catch up with your lone wolf of a kid. Okay, cool. We're cool. Brad literally runs into Charlie and the two head into the spaceship to rescue April. Did I say two? Cause I meant just Brad! Again! Well, he's able to find his sister and pluck out her gnarly ingrown hair. She then April O'Neils her way out of the ship while Brad takes out his favorite Left 4 Dead weapon. Before he can light the bomb, he's chased out of the ship by Big Daddy Critter.
Hey, this ain't the Orville, get out of here!
And on the way out, he loses his only weapon.
I dropped my firecracker!
I'm sorry, but if you call that IED a firecracker, what do you call a tank, a parade float? The critters prep for launch while Charlie gets a goddamn plan. He has Brad light up his alcoholic character trait, then chucks it through the tiniest slit on the door. Man, I bet he bullseyes womp rats in his T-16 back home. The ship takes off as everyone is reunited, but before the critters leave, they make like Bob Evans and bring it down on the farm, blowing up the Browns' home in an incredible practical explosion. Damn, that was cool.
The explosion could be seen from the freeway. So traffic went, was pulling off to the side because it lit up the sky.
And speaking of lit up, that firecracker got set off by Charlie's cocktail. Guess uh-oh is a universal language since the critter ship is blown up, killing the remaining 3 Krites and also blowing up the house just a bit more for good measure. The survivors look on and Dee Wallace starts to cry when she realizes she'll eventually have to be in the not-so-great 5th film. The bounty hunters also want to return in a sequel, so they give Brad their pager, as Charlie wanders off with them, offering to be their space intern.
Maybe you need a good mechanic to work on them guns.
The family looks at their destroyed home as night turns to day and they drive back to their house. Wait, where the hell did they go all night? Now this smells like a reshoot. And in fact it was. The movie originally ended with the house destroyed and the family just moving on with their lives. But a comment from a random director after a test screening got them a new ending.
Wouldn't it be cool if the kid could push a button and the house comes back together? And Bob Shea said, that's brilliant.
To achieve this magical rebuild, a miniature replica of the house was made by Gene Warren Jr. They used cables attached to various points to pull it apart, and latex rubber inside the house, so
stuff would come down like that. And so when it went back up, it grew back up like that, and so it didn't really look that reverse printed.
To add to the nonsensical nature, the bounty hunters give a farewell Blue Angels fly-off. Seriously, why the hell are they just flying off now? What were they doing all night? Maybe each other. I don't judge. Well, at least there's a cute cat on delivery package in the mailbox, and a sequel tease with some very giggly eggs. How many people were devoured by the night of the critters? Let's find out and get to the number.
Leave the cat on me, you fucking flannel. Whee! Cannonball! Well, let's do this. 4 people or aliens died in critters. 2 men and 2 unknown, giving us a chart that leaves me hungry. The run time of 86 minutes will give us a kill on average every 21.5 minutes. As for the bounty board, we can add 8 critters, 2 for Helen, 5 for Brad, and only 1 for the bounty hunters, giving us a critter kill on average every 10.75 minutes. Boo! Huh? Oh, fuck.
That one doesn't go on the count. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Steve, even though it could have been cooler without the cuts made to make this PG-13. I mean, seriously, having your stomach eaten out is something usually reserved for Scottish sheep. Dull machete for lamest kill goes to the 2 off-screen kills for the space warden people alien thing. I don't know what they were, we never got to meet them, and I bet they were real nice too. And the new Bounty Booty Award for best critter kill goes to the critter that doubted the awesomeness of D. Wallace's stone cold killer instincts. It was messy and genuinely hilarious. And that's it. Critters came out in 1986 and did well enough to spawn another theatrical sequel. I'll be covering that next week, but until then, I'm a man who owns an original sketch by Charlie Chiodo of a critter, and this has been The Kill Count. Thanks for watching! This is the beginning of our big Critters reign. Not as many films as Tremors, but still plenty. We got 4 more to go, and I'm so excited that we've got wonderful things like Critter Balls right here, made by Gina DeVivo again, because I can't make a kill count without Gina DeVivo showing off that she can just make amazing crap for me.
Support the Writers Guild of America in their strike.
Yes, do exactly what that man said right there. Wow, I'm doing stupid ball jokes, and he's actually doing things that matter. I don't look like an ass. Hope you enjoyed the Tremors Fest video. If you didn't, check that out. So yeah, James and Chelsea still gone, enjoying their honeymoon. I hope they're having a great time. Let's check in with them.
I'm at Stonehenge. Get back to work.
Awesome. I'm very excited for whatever that clip was. Next week, we're going to keep following the bouncing ball. And until then, remember, be good people.